a lot of fun to, kind of have them on the mountain.
Andy Stanger is Director of Mountain Operations as goats munch away, flattening out overgrown ski trails.
They're great employees. They take a lot of lunch breaks, but that's kind of the idea.
Meanwhile, at the Basilica of St. Patrick's Old Cathedral in New York, 3 sheep are keeping the grass under control.
We'll spend the next month or two out here in the North Graveyard. We have a shed for them to call home.
That's Thomas Wilkinson. He's the Basilica's tour director.
We like to say they're out here doing our landscaping.
Take pause. Joel Nato, Fox News.
From the Raffy Law Group Accident Attorney Studio.
Call Raffy.
KGME Phoenix, KESZ HD3 Phoenix. Guaranteed human.
Parker and Sons, the Valley's AC, plumbing, and electrical experts. Call Parker.
This report is sponsored by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
Don McDowell Outdoor Radio is sponsored by Elevate Design Group. It's time for Don McDowell Outdoors on Fox Sports 910. A show for the avid fisherman and hunter looking for tips from the pros. Now here's your host, a saltwater fisherman and the man that fears no fish. He's the bass daddy and a tournament pro, Don McDowell.
Hey, I want to welcome everybody to the show today, and we've got a lot of stuff to cover. It's getting kind of dry out here in Arizona. We did some traveling yesterday, and aside from the wildfires in Iran, we're facing some stuff here in Arizona. It's just grass fires, but how about that Donald Trump, huh?
He's awesome.
Oh, yeah. We'll get into that a little bit later. That is the voice of Tyson Stewart from Dendora Valley, Poca de Nero. He's in here. We're going to be talking about some stuff. Always a pleasure to have him here. Rancher, farmer, good sportsman. Chris Lohman, range con up in Yavapai County and places beyond. He covers the state. We're going to be talking to him right now. I want to welcome you, Chris. Good morning. What's happening?
Good morning, Don, man. Just starting my second cup of coffee, so ready to rock and roll for the day.
Okay, that's good. Hey, congratulations, first of all, on your javelina hunt. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, we had a really great time. My wife, son, and I, we all tagged out. Just to try a new spot this year in the unit, and it was a lot of fun just to get into some rougher country and find a lot of pigs in there. So, yeah, it was a good time. My son, he got to use his great-grandpa's M1A for that hunt, and that was kind of a special treat to use an old antique rifle like that. Well, not antique, but, kind of some sentimental family values to use that rifle. And it was just a sweet time, but I will say a 308 at 30 paces is a little too much gun.
That will roll them over. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I had to laugh. I was telling Roger, my buddy Roger and I took off one to Tahoe Basin, Greenback, way up on top of the mountain up there, and just as we turned off onto the 88, there was 4 javelinas stacked up in a row that apparently committed suicide out in the road, and somebody was kind enough to stop and line them up along the highway.
Yeah.
does make one wonder. The things you see over in Tonto Basin is like, woo.
Yep.
Well, that's great. You guys have had some success on your hunting with the family, and congratulations to you. Great dad, good husband. All the kids are hunters. The wife's a hunter. You're doing a great job up there, man. That's just awesome.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we've definitely been blessed beyond measure with having hunts. I think we've had an elk tag every year since 2018. So we've had a pretty good redneck run on elk tags, but this year none of us drew a tag. So, we might just do some camping instead.
Yeah, welcome to my world. Yeah, I just spent $23 at the game department.
Yeah. We like to donate our money to Game and Fish, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting to see how this year sorts out. Tyson Store's in here. We're all suffering from the same thing. It's lack of precipitation. The stuff that we're seeing down here. Tyson's area. Have you ever seen it more dry?
Dry and warm. This is amazing. We have mulberry trees in our backyard, and they never lost their leaves this year.
Oh, yeah.
They're completely green, and now things are greening up again. But the trees never lost their leaves. We'd never had a winter.
My front yard has Chinese mulberry. Same thing.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are
way
you
too
seeing?
warm up here.
I want to get back to hunting, but I value your opinion. You're out there on the range with the ranchers and the Forest Service, and what's your opinion of this year's fire threat and assessment?
Our fire threat, especially the desert country this year, I think is going to be bad because we had some timely winter precip. The cheatgrass is really making, mostly down here, it's red brome. And so that's what we're going to see is those fine fuels taken off in that desert country. So we're going to have an early fire season. And then that's just going to transition into the forest because we don't have the snowpack. So our heavy fuel load, that moisture level in there is going to be pretty dry. And so I think it's going to be a big fire year this year, especially because of how much red brome we've got going in the desert. So we're going to have another year like the Telegraph fire, like the bush fire in that desert country that's really going to take off. Thankfully, the Tonto has been kind of ahead of their management on things and have been kind of thinking outside the box to get some grazing management out there to kind of knock down that cheatgrass. They're doing targeted grazing along the Beeline Highway to really, because that's their main start, is that Beeline Highway.
Oh, yeah,
and
absolutely.
So they're doing targeted grazing in there to keep the red brome down. I'm hoping they're doing it again this year because what I'm seeing, man, that red brome in places, I was just literally this week outside of Kingman doing production on red brome, and it's up. And so we're gonna really see it in places where that's gonna start our fire season early once that dries up.
Well, we were at Greenback yesterday, that Greenback Valley, just due east of Tonto Basin. I'm sure you're familiar with it. It's such a beautiful spot. Tonto had been up there with prescribed burning along the egress in and out the main road, especially down right in the valley. There's the Sweezy Ranch, Conways are up there, Prophet and Vossler all have dwellings up there, so you can see the evidence of the prescribed burning, and it's just I'm glad to see it, but you kind of hit something on the head. They're a little, as far as I'm concerned, they're way behind in their management on fuel. Fuel buildup. And I don't want to pick on them unnecessarily, other than the fact that they're a government agency and you can do the math. Coconino County, has been burned drastically. Especially in 6P from Parker clear down to damn near Cottonwood. you know, on that big fire out there, the Raphael fire.
I do gotta say the Forest Service is doing what they can with the policies they have in place. So they are doing what they can.
Okay, well, that's good. Yeah, I'm sure they're making an effort. Are they starting to stockpile air assets and ground assets, getting ready for it yet?
Not yet. That's too early for that. They'll probably pick that up in May. That's usually when things dry up enough to where we start getting those fires going. And that's usually what they'll do is they'll bring units from the northern states down here for that May, June, July time frame. And then once our monsoons hit, they go home because usually that northern country, Idaho, Montana, they start getting their starts in August. And so we'll send our assets up there. So it's a nice trade back and forth.
Well, we try to educate our listenership. As you know, about 76% of our guys, listeners, drive vehicles that are pulling something, some kind of a trailer or ATV, boat, camping trailer, you know, whatever the case may be. And chain protocol is one of my pet peeves. There's too many times you see a chain dragging on the asphalt or the concrete, making sparks, starting fires. And so chain management's very, very important. In essence, I guess we just started that. We'll talk about that as we go through the show in the second hour. But, you know, the other thing is the catalytic converters. You know, if a guy pulls over on the shoulder of the road, he's obviously got a problem, and he's not thinking about the heat generated by the catalytic converter that, you know, somewhere between 800 and 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit, which is like throwing a bottle rocket right there in that dry grass.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, maybe that's something we work with Game and Fish to talk about in hunters education is nobody talks about that anymore, and maybe it needs to be in the ATV course you've got to take now to register your buggy, but, you know, talk about fire management. Because I remember when I was a kid, first started driving, that's exactly what my dad would tell me is, hey, don't pull off in the brush in the truck. That undercarriage will start a fire.
Boom, yeah.
I don't think anybody tells a new generation about that.
Well, you know, I was talking to Terry Klein at the OBRC yesterday, and there was 27 off-road vehicles, side-by-sides, et cetera, going up that road up to, I guess they were headed to Young because they didn't come up into Greenback Valley. So, you know, I mean, it's very popular. You know, and we're looking at the technological advances in exhaust systems with the spark arresters and heat shields and that kind of thing, which does do a lot of good. But one of the things that we're seeing is the stupidity that's riding in these side-by-sides. There's been damn near a dozen cows killed. These guys are speeding down the road. They think it's a road course. And, of course, it's open range on the tonneau, and they're whacking cows. So, yeah, it's just crazy stuff. How much time do you actually spend out in the field? How many days a year?
It depends on the season. My fall is pretty busy, where it's usually 4 days a week I'm in the field, and then picks up again in the spring. Come April, May, and June, I'm in the field probably 4 days a week. So, yeah, just the seasonality of the work.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I want to get into that and have you explain what you do, how you do it, why you do it, and all those good things, and marking your map on all the big game that you're scouting while you're out there. I know what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Chris Loman, stay with us. We got to flip into a hard break here with Tyson Stewart. I'm Don McDowell, and this is Fox Sports 910. We'll be back shortly.
Thanks for calling Grand Avenue Mini Storage. We are located at 3636 West Grand Avenue. We have units ranging from 4 foot by 4 foot all the way up to a 20 by 20. Yes, sir. I do think the 4 foot by 4 foot will hold all of your IRS crashed hard drives. No, sir. I don't think the 20 by 20 will hold all the people the White House has thrown under the bus, but do have room for that bus. Grand Avenue Mini Storage. Call us at 602-246-0680. 602-246-0680. Thanks for calling Grand Avenue Mini Storage. We are located at 3636 West Grand Avenue. We have units ranging from 4 foot by 4 foot all the way up to a 20 by 20. Yes, sir. I do think the 4 foot by 4 foot will hold all of your IRS crashed hard drives. No, sir. I don't think the 20 by 20 will hold all the people the White House has thrown under the bus, but do have room for that bus. Grand Avenue Mini Storage. Call us at 602-246-0680. 602-246-0680.
From the mountains of Montana to the shores of Hawaii, this ain't your grandma's coffee talk. It's 406 Coffee and Chaos, where rifles roar, coffee pours, and aloha meets the wild western soul. We are slinging truth, gear, and attitude served with a side of mayhem. Grab a cup, brace yourself, and let the madness begin. 406 Coffee and Chaos brewed with aloha, seasoned in gunpowder, served up straight from the big sky. 406coffeeandchaos.com or on Facebook at 406 Coffee and Chaos.
It's time to join the Howl Pack. In 2025, Howl for Wildlife campaigns will inspire advocacy, influence decision makers, and build resistance to the constant attacks from the anti-hunting industry. Howl is committed to protecting hunting, angling, and trapping opportunities nationwide, and we invite you to join the Howl Pack. Howl for Wildlife is committed to winning. Visit howlforwildlife.org to learn more and join the pack.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different.
Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
This segment brought to you by Boyd's Gun Stocks, makers of the adjustable agility and at-one stock for your favorite long gun. Head to boydsgunstocks.com for more details. Build with Boyd's. Show us your rack. How big is that elk, whitetail, moose, or mule deer? In the world of big game hunting, there's nothing better than having your rack on the wall and shown around the outdoor world. Head to huntingfishing.com and show us your rack. Now back to Don McDowell Outdoors on Fox Sports 910.
All righty, we're back. Chris, one of the other things I'd like for you to do is try to explain to the listenership what you do and why you do it and who you do it with, if you would, please.
Yeah, so we'll start with the why I do it. I just have a passion for the outdoors and helping ranchers become better ranchers and seeing healthier, more productive ranches, because the healthier ranches are, the healthier our wildlife populations are. And, you know, ranchers and farmers are a dying breed, unfortunately, and anything we can do as a society to help them get better at their ranching, to shed a better light on what they do, is a good thing. And so part of what I do with my business is I do a lot of consulting. So I'll work individually with ranchers, helping them navigate the different agencies that they may have grazing leases or permits on. But then I also work for a couple nonprofits, the big one being the Arizona Association of Conservation Districts. They're the statewide organization that oversees the local NRCDs and helps them do what they do. And so that's the bulk of my spring and fall works, is working for the AACD. And what we're doing right now is they've got a very large grant to help improve ranches, getting infrastructure on the ground, and more specifically brush work, juniper work, mesquite work, whatever it may be, to improve that habitat, to kind of restore these grasslands. And so what they have me doing is actually boots on the ground, getting the inventory to justify why we're spending grant money to improve these ranches. And so we go out there, we'll do production on the vegetation, I do a range health analysis, and then a wildlife habitat analysis. And all that comes together to paint a picture of, all right, what does this ranch look like? And it's a very, very broad brush that we're painting with, and what is needed to improve the habitat out there. So is it, we need to do some brush work, we need to add more waters, we need to make the fences wildlife friendly. So if there's, an old page wire fence, get that old page wire out, replace it with barbed wire so that it's not a barrier to wildlife movement, stuff like that. So that's the big outfit I work for. But then one of the smaller nonprofits I work for is the Central Arizona Land Trust, and they do conservation easements. And this particular land trust is focused on production agriculture and seeing farmers and ranchers able to keep those legacy ranches in place so that they're protected from being subdivided and turned into high-density residential.
One of the trends that we're seeing nationally, there are some grantors, if you will, popping up, organizations keyed in on preservation of historic land and ranch facilities. Have you had any interaction with those folks?
Not a particular organization like that, no. What the funding sources we're working with these conservation easements is usually the NRCS, and then a couple we're actually tapping into is through the Forest Service, through their Forest Legacy Program, which has been a pretty, it's dealing with government agencies, so it takes a long time. But yeah, I'd certainly love to learn more about other organizations that might be funding these conservation efforts, that's for sure.
We're looking at a couple right now. It's in the talking stages. Tyson will be familiar with the Bender's Pond. There's a building there that initially was the first jail in Maricopa County. What year was that?
1851, 52?
Good grief.
1851, I'm pretty positive it was 1851.
Okay, yeah. Well, it's still standing. It needs a little bit of love, but, in the other one we're talking about, and, I don't want to sound harsh, but we're dealing with the BLM, and there's some policy differences that we don't agree with, but the old Vico Valley headquarters that was a giant ranch for quite a long time. Portions of the headquarters are still standing, and it's doable to go in and refurbish them and turn it into something meaningful, because there's an awful lot of traffic down in that area. Unbeknownst to me, until we started traveling and looking at water projects on the old Butterfield Stage Trail. Goes down through the Gila Bend area and heads to Casa Grande. I mean, it's just awesome. And, I think some of the preservation of our history, who we were, where we came from, and how we got here today, I think deserves some salvation.
Yeah, and it's neat to see a couple of projects I'm working on. They are legacy ranches. One particular ranch, they're working to get their property into conservation easement. They've been on the same piece of property prior to statehood. I think he said his great grandfather homesteaded there in like the 1880s or 1890s, and they've been on the same piece of property since then. And that's pretty amazing to see that, where there's a threat for subdivisions coming, and to see it protected and preserved. It's surrounded by state and federal land, so likelihood of it being developed is pretty high. And so to see it like, hey, we're going to protect this legacy ranch, that's a pretty awesome thing. I like it.
Yeah, I think it needs to happen. Yeah, I'm all in favor of it. Let me divert over to Tyson. Tyson, how much development are you seeing in solar projects and the use of ag lands for residential, that kind of thing?
You're never going to stop progress, but I love the fact that you're working on these conservation easements. But in the West Valley, solar projects, data centers, you don't even recognize your landmarks anymore in the West Valley. Even past Buckeye, it's it's just daily.
Well, I was out to Harquahala Valley not too long ago, and I was just absolutely devastated personally at the amount of solar that's going in, contrary to the federal administration, the state land departments out there, where they got their heads stuck right up their pipes, as far as I'm concerned, on these solar expanses those we're putting in.
Solar's great during the day, but then at night we have to turn on all these natural gas plants to take when the big flashlight in the sky goes away, we have to have power, and that's when everyone's using power at home. So we need to work more on batteries. Natural gas is a good thing. We're putting a big pipeline in. We have a lot of natural gas.
Yeah.
Here's a novel idea. Let's build another nuclear plant.
Well, we've got 3 nuclear reactors out there, and why they don't build another one to take care of it? Because the long and short of it, the power that's being generated, the bulk of it's going right straight to California. Mm-hmm. And I'm opposed to that. I cut a video that I'm being criticized for, picking on California, because the bulk of our gasoline and diesel fuel comes from California.
Well, it did. It did.
Yeah, well, we're still paying, the retailers. I mean, this is a big can of worms I don't really want to get into, but I will. We're paying $3.55 for gasoline, and AAA and the federal government, they're going, oh, it's below $2. I said, you need to come to Arizona and come look at the gas pumps. I got 3 gas stations. Fry's was $3.49. The guy across the street to the southeast was $3.25, and then Circle K was $3.29.
We are building another pipeline from Texas.
It needs to hurry up.
It's coming.
Yeah, anyway, I'm going to get off my soapbox.
Don,
all right, back to you. You've got in my phone turkey harvest. I have javelina harvest. I have elk harvest from Mr. Lohman. I have a Tuesday project of a looks like a white Chevy pickup truck that's been high-centered. How long did it take you to get that truck out, Chris?
That was a deal with the Forest Service. Younger range con really liked the guy, and he learned his hard lesson of going in the field without recovery gear. We had a little clam shovels, like those little bitty shovels is all we had to get that truck out. And it didn't have, it comes back to procurement people not understanding what field people go through, and they took away their high lift jacks. And so we had...
Whoa. Stop. What do you mean they took them away?
They're widowmakers.
They're not allowed to have them.
No.
Yeah, they're widowmakers. And so from a safety management standpoint, they're not allowed to have high lift jacks. So we had a little bitty bottle jack is all we had, and that little spade shovel. And we were down in this hole. He just got high centered. He put that Chevy 2500 up on the frame on a dirt berm, and we were done. Like the front tires, it didn't have lockers on the front end, so only one front tire had power to it. And we was literally taking that little bottle jack and jacking it up as much as we could, putting a rock pile under the tires and jacking up the other side and just building these rock piles as we jacked it up.
Gee, one has to ask, what could go wrong with doing that? Come on.
Drop a Chevy 2500 on your head, yeah.
I'll tell you what, you need to take these people that took their jacks and stuff away from them, go high center a truck and give them a bottle jack and a little spade and say, here, you fix it, get it out.
Yeah, yep. So, yeah, it's just being prepared for the field. But, it is what it is. You learn how to improvise, adapt, and overcome. But we got out. It took a few hours, but we got there.
Yes, okay. Yes. Stand by. We got to flip into another break. God love you, man. I just cringed. I said that to Tyson. We call that Tuesday. So, we'll be right back. More with Chris Lohman on Fox Sports 910.
Arizona Catalog, the official magazine of the Arizona Cattle Growers Association monthly publication, provides essential updates on issues impacting the ranching industry in our great state and nationally. The Arizona Catalog provides industry news from the University of Arizona, National Cattlemen's Beef Association, the Arizona Farm Bureau, National and Arizona Department of Agriculture, and others. Timely notifications of legislation on local, state, and federal levels, as well as other issues that may affect the ranching community. Spotlight on rancher highlights, activities, events, and dialogue from our president, executive director. Board members fight the fight for you. Regular features include cattle growers reports, cattle comments, activities for kids, and animal health. The Arizona Catalog monthly magazine is created by ranchers for ranchers. Get your subscription today at azcattlegrowers.org or call 602-267-1129 and then ask how you can join the Arizona Cattle Growers Association. What's on your plate?
What? You missed again?
Yeah, but I looked cool doing it.
That's because you were holding an Atheros rifle. Sleek, reliable, and built to make you look like you meant to miss on purpose. Whether you're at the range or the end of the world, our rifles won't fail you. But we can't promise your aim won't. Under new ownership, quality rifles with the same deadly bite. Atheros Rifle Company. Because even your mother-in-law respects this kind of firepower. AtherosRifle.com. Or call us at 540-849-4674.
It's time to join the Howl Pack. In 2025, Howl for Wildlife campaigns will inspire advocacy, influence decision makers, and build resistance to the constant attacks from the anti-hunting industry. Howl is committed to protecting hunting, angling, and trapping opportunities nationwide, and we invite you to join the Howl Pack. Howl for Wildlife is committed to winning. Visit howlforwildlife.org to learn more and join the pack.
If you're a rancher, farmer, or involved in wildlife habitat enhancement, then you need to know Southwest Ranch Supply for your needs. Southwest Ranch Supply is a distributor for quality American-made products. Vertical and direct burial water tanks, Numex polypipe, RDF aluminum troughs and spring boxes, Rainmaker drinkers, Western clay bentonite and pond seal, Redmond agricultural salt and minerals in bulk or block, solar well conversion, panels, pumps, and structural panel supports. Contact us at southwestranchsupply.com or 623-221-7655 for your free project survey and estimate to stretch your project budget and ensure you have the right products for your projects. We run full truckloads, split truckloads, and deliver direct to your allotment. Southwest Ranch Supply is your partner in conservation. 623-221-7655. Again, contact us at southwestranchsupply.com or 623-221-7655. Southwest Ranch Supply, proud member of the Arizona Cattle Growers Association.
With Progressive Insurance, we make it easy to save money. When you bundle your auto policy with home, condo, or renters, you will earn a multi-policy discount. Easy to bundle, easy to save. Visit Progressive.com.
Liquid Death Sparkling Energy, the better for you, easy drinking energy drink. Available at Fry's. 0 sugar, just 5 calories, plus essential vitamins. Murder your thirst, not your head. Liquid Death.
You turned your dating app for pets into a business, which just turned over its first billion. You turned around the fortunes of a failing football club, politely turned down a Nobel Peace Prize, and turned up on Mars in your own reusable rocket. All while struggling to turn on the dishwasher. There's more to imagine when you listen. Discover business development titles on Audible.
Your one stop for advertising? Call 844-844-iHeart.
Back to Don McDowell Outdoors on Fox Sports 910 and always on our free iHeartRadio app. Here's the Bass Daddy and Tournament Pro, Don McDowell.
Okay, back to Chris Lohman. Chris, thank you so much for sharing your hunting successes. I just look forward to seeing your good fortune with your family, and I can't thank you enough for stepping to the pump and teaching the kids, the young people, the next generation coming up, the sportsmanship and stewardship. All the good things that you do. Thank you, man. I think it's really awesome. But
yeah, man, I love it.
Walk us through your elk hunt. As I'm scrolling down through my phone, I've got elk, turkey, javelina. I mean, it's just awesome.
Yeah. So this fall, my boy, he had the youth tag in 7 West, cow tag. And then the following week, my wife had the general cow tag in 7 West. And then the following week, my wife had the deer tag in 20A. So I had 3 straight weeks of hunting, and kind of laughed with the family and said, you guys need to tag out early so I can get some work done and pay the mortgage for November. But, you know, we did good. That youth 7 West hunt is a lot of fun. And man, I had to laugh. We were scouting the weekend before the hunt, and the bulls were still bugling.
Oh, man.
And we got to one high spot right at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we had 4 different bulls bugling at 8 in the morning. And I told my boys, like, this is the spot. We're hunting here opening morning. And we go in, sure enough, opening morning, and there's just bulls screaming. And I was like, yeah, we're going to get into elk. And we saw a herd of elk the first morning coming out into this meadow, and I told my boy, he had a buddy with him, I said, all right, you two, I'm going to stay up on the high spot in glass. You guys slip in there, and they get to slipping in there. And, well, it's public land hunting, and here come 2 other hunters just bebopping over the hill, blow those elk out. And it's like, oh, man. And so for 3 days in the same spot, we were chasing elk, and they were elk right there. And that was the coolest part of just hearing bulls bugle. And, like, you just can't beat that. Other than the spring turkey hunt and having gobblers blowing up on you. Like, there's nothing better than that. You know, when you got a tom coming in on a string and them they're just gobbling their heads off. But, you know, my boys hunt, we got in, what was it, Sunday, we got in on the elk. And, you know, you hunt with a 16-year-old kid, and at 47 years old, I made the mistake of I glassed up a big herd of elk at the top of Kendrick Mountain. And I told my son, I said, I see a big old herd of elk up there. You want them? And what's a 16-year-old boy going to say? Yeah. So off he goes with his buddy. And I'm like, they're almost 10,000 feet. I ain't going up there. And so I'm sitting there, you know, it's 7 in the morning, and I'm watching these boys just assault this mountain like it was nothing. And I had no idea how steep and nasty that hill was sitting at the bottom. And they get up there, and at 9 o'clock, the elk are all bedded in this aspen stand. And so my boy's sitting up outside of the aspen stand about 100 yards away. And they sat there they got up there at 9, and they sat there till 4, waiting for the elk to come out. And I was watching the whole time, and the elk were moving back and forth. And I'd text my boy, and I'd be like, hey, they're starting to head your way. Get ready, get ready. I was seeing just a couple head of elk moving through the aspen stand towards him. And finally he texted me. He's like, man, we're cold. We got to move. And so they got up, and I said, well, just sneak into that aspen stand and see what happens. I said, there's elk in there. And so I could see him sneak, and they got right to the edge of the aspen stand, and I see my boy get up on the shooting stick. I'm like, all right, game on. He's going to get an elk. And sitting there waiting, and probably waited 10 minutes, and finally gunshot rings out, and get a text message, elk down. I was like, sweet. I was like, except now I have to go up that mountain and pack that elk.
Yeah, there you go, Dad.
And so he shot that elk at 4:30, and I took everything out of the pack, ran down to the buggy, grabbed my frame pack out. So all I had was 2 backpacks and a bunch of water and my kill kit. Got up to the top of the mountain, and we got that elk broke down right at sunset. But when my boy got in there, he said he was 50 yards from the bull. The bull was bedded in that aspen stand, and he was surrounded by elk. I was seeing maybe a dozen elk. When he touched off, the whole hillside erupted with elk, and I counted like 40 head of elk filing out of that aspen stand. So you know how it is. I mean, I'm 1,000 yards away. That's all I saw, and so we got up there, and that hill was just a mix of blow-down timber and boulders, and it was just nasty getting through it. And we got that elk broke down, boned out, and we packed out and he shot a big cow, and we packed that out, the 3 of us, in one trip. And it was brutal. It took us 5.5 hours to go 1,000 yards. That's how steep and nasty this hill was. And started raining on us about 1 in the morning, and finally we got to the bottom of the mountain and dropped our packs. We were still a mile from the buggy, and I was like, we're done. We're going to blow out a knee in this boulder field getting out. It's raining on us.
Oh, yeah.
dropped our packs, covered it in a tarp so they wouldn't get rained on, hiked out to the buggy, got back to camp at 1:30 in the morning, and told the boys, like, you guys just sleep in. When you wake up, it's plenty cold. We'll go up and get the meat. So they woke up about 8 o'clock and hiked back in there and got the meat out. But that was probably the most brutal pack out I've ever done. It was rough.
That is amazing. What caliber rifle was the son shooting?
Y'all are you're gonna hate me. It was a 6.5 Creed, and
okay, we're done here. That's it. Just disconnect him. I'm not talking to him.
I'll tell you, a rancher gave me that rifle as a thank you for helping him out on a project. This was, 10, 15 years ago, and it took a while to develop a load in that cartridge that I like. It's a ridiculously accurate rifle.
Cool.
Has very little recoil, so it's great for wife and kids. But I had to find the right bullet because everybody was telling me, shoot the Hornady ELDX. It's an amazing bullet. And yeah, I mean, you're shooting, you can shoot a jackrabbit in the head at 500 yards with that bullet. The problem with that ELDX, it wasn't a bonded bullet.
Uh-oh.
And so the first elk I'd shot with it, I shot that elk at 80 yards, right behind the shoulder. And she stood there, and I put a second shot in her, and she stood there for 10 minutes before she finally went down. And no penetration. I was like, this ain't good. Well, then my daughter shot a deer at 200 yards a couple weeks later. That bullet didn't penetrate through the deer. I was like, what the heck? Well, then the next year, my wife shoots an elk with that cartridge at 120 yards, and that elk ran 300 yards, thankfully through the grassland, piled up.
No.
And I open up, I was like, I got to figure this out. And I opened up that elk, and it looked like the entrance lung was shot with birdshot. And there was no penetration to that offside lung. I was like, this is not good. So I started researching bullets and developing a load. And what I found was, what I really love is the Nosler AccuBond long range. 142 grain bullet. It's a bonded bullet, and that thing kills elk like crazy.
Is that got a tapered boat tail on it?
Yeah. Ballistic tip, boat tail. It's a bonded bullet, and we've had ridiculous success with that bullet on elk. My daughter, the next elk we took with that, she shot a big old cow at 320 yards. It broke the front shoulder blade in half. It was a quartering torch shot, and it passed all the way through at 320 yards.
Damn.
It just destroyed it. I mean, the lungs, it was lung soup in there, destroyed it. The next year, my son got an elk, 190-yard shot through both shoulders, complete pass-through. And that Nosler AccuBond long-range bullet is absolute deadly on elk.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that. There's been such a controversy over that 6.5. It's kind of a joke in here. All the arguments.
It comes down to the bullet. People love the 270. And the 270 is a great cartridge, but you put a bad bullet in it, it's a bad cartridge. And you look at the old gun riders, a lot of the gun riders in the 60s, 50s, and 60s were talking about a lot of game getting lost due to bad bullets. Well, then came out the Remington Core-Locked.
Yep.
And that started it. And those bonded bullets, you've got to, when you're hunting big, heavy boned game like elk, you have got to have a bonded bullet. And if you're shooting anything, I mean, I don't care if you're shooting a 300 Win Mag or a 308 or a 6.5 Creed, you've got to have a bonded bullet or you're going to lose game.
You have to, and that takes me right back to the old Winchester silver tips. So, anyway, we got to flip into a break. Hang with us, Chris. Great information. Thank you for that. More with Tyson and Chris. I'm Don McDowell on Fox Sports 910.
If you're new in the valley and want to fish or don't know where or how to, contact the Goodyear Bass Club, sanctioned by BASS. The Goodyear Bass Club is a teaching club with boater and non-boater slots open. Enjoy the benefits of BASS, the Arizona Bass Federation Nation, and meet some awesome anglers. For more information, call Mike Hawforth, 623-229-4650, or check him out online, ArizonaBassNation.com. Hey, let's go fishing.
Bass is king.
Arizona Catalog, the official magazine of the Arizona Cattle Growers Association monthly publication, provides essential updates on issues impacting the ranching industry in our great state and nationally. The Arizona Catalog provides industry news from the University of Arizona, National Cattlemen's Beef Association, the Arizona Farm Bureau, National and Arizona Department of Agriculture, and others. Timely notifications of legislation on local, state, and federal levels, as well as other issues that may affect the ranching community. Spotlight on rancher highlights, activities, events, and dialogue from our president, executive director. Board members fight the fight for you. Regular features include cattle growers reports, cattle comments, activities for kids, and animal health. The Arizona Catalog monthly magazine is created by ranchers for ranchers. Get your subscription today at azcattlegrowers.org or call 602-267-1129 and then ask how you can join the Arizona Cattle Growers Association. What's on your plate?
In today's world, personal and family safety, home and business are at risk. Roll Shutter Systems Shutters protects your family, home, and business assets, providing security, privacy, weather protection, noise reduction, and all built for specific needs. Roll Shutter Systems is family owned and operated for 40 years and manufactured in Phoenix, Arizona. They ship and install throughout the USA, Canada, and Mexico. For your free estimate, click RollShutterSystemsUSA.com or call 623-869-7057.
From the mountains of Montana to the shores of Hawaii, this ain't your grandma's coffee talk. Welcome to 406 Coffee and Chaos, where Big Sky Grit meets Island Aloha, and things get wild fast. We talk rifles, outdoors, politics, and life. No filters, just full send. 1 minute, it's elk hunting. The next is spam moose bee and suppressors. Brew a strong cup, hold on tight, and embrace the beautiful madness. This is 406 Coffee and coffee brewed in Montana, seasoned with aloha and delivered with a heavy dose of freedom. Hey, you like beef, brother? Only if it's elk shot from 600 yards with my 406 Hui Hui build. From Lava Rock to the Rocky Mountains, Montana 406 Rifle Hui Hui blends Pono Island style with rugged Western soul precision. So sharp, even your tutu gets chicken skin. Born in Big Sky Country, raised with aloha. Whether you're hunting mule deer or chasing pigs in the jungle, shoot straight, stay humble. M406RHH.com or call 406-266-1923.
Enjoying a healthy dinner that tastes great means eating out at a pricey restaurant, right? Wrong. Healthy Choice Simply Steamers are delicious and healthy. The Tray and Tray steam technology delivers crisp veggies and tender protein in tasty selections, like Healthy Choice Simply Steamers grilled chicken and broccoli Alfredo. It's a satisfying meal with 28 grams of protein and nothing artificial. Healthy Choice Simply Steamers. What having it all tastes like.
Flag football is exploding, and iFlag is leading the way. As the Guinness World Record holder, iFlag hosts premier flag football tournaments nationwide for boys, girls, high school girls, and adults. From first-time players to elite competitors, iFlag delivers top-level competition, unforgettable experiences, and a community built around the game. Ready to be part of it? Join the movement. Find your tournament and learn more at iflag.org. That's iflag.org.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
If you love the outdoors, make sure you sign up for the weekly hunting fishing newsletter to stay up to date with the latest outdoorsman news across the nation. Sign up today at huntingfishing.com. Now back to Don McDowell Outdoors on Fox Sports 910.
Okay, more with Chris Lohman. I appreciate your information on that 6.5 Creedmoor. Let's get into the turkey hunting. That is an awesome picture, you and your son right behind that big turkey fan. Tell us about that turkey hunt.
Oh, yeah. That was a pretty great hunt. I love that youth turkey hunt. It's early in the season, and you know that season you never quite know what you get. When we showed up to camp Thursday morning, we were in shorts and a t-shirt. And, you know, it's cold in the morning, so we're ready for cold. And, you know, we watched the weather, and they said slight chance of precip Friday night. I'm like, okay. And they said, you know, up to a half inch of snow. Okay, we can handle half inch of snow. Not a big deal. And we're hunting Friday morning, and we had a couple jakes go by our stand, but there's a tom way off in the distance, so the jakes go off, and we hunt all the day. And then Friday night, we're setting a stand, and it starts snowing and blowing hail and snowing some more. We're like, okay. And, you know, we hunt till dark and come back and go to camp and go to bed. And we wake up Saturday morning, and there's 8 inches of snow on the ground.
Oh, geez.
I was just like, oh, we weren't, you know, we had cold weather gear, but we didn't have our Sorels, we didn't have our packs, we didn't have wet weather gear like that. Like, dang. So we road hunted a little bit Saturday morning. My wife and kids, they're like, we are not sitting in the snow in the morning. So we just kind of scouted some areas and ran into a guy, and he's like, yeah, you know, we ran into a tom way up on this power line road. He goes, we're hunting somewhere else, so you guys can go in there this evening. And the guy literally dropped us a pin of where he saw those toms. And we're like, all right. So we slip in there about 3 in the afternoon and just start calling real soft, and within 5 minutes, we could hear 2 different toms just blowing up. And, man, it was cool just to hear. And I was sitting in the snow. By then, you know, it's settled, so we're sitting in 6 inches of snow. And toms coming in, and a whole gaggle of jakes go walking by us on the right-hand side. And they go right past the decoys. But we had these 2 toms coming in, and we're just sitting there. And I think it took an hour for those toms to come in. But they were hot. I mean, every time I'd hit the call, they would blow up, both of them. And we saw the first one. He was probably 300 yards away coming across the hill through the timber. And, you know, and so my boy was sitting there and talking about loads. I am a huge proponent of the new TSS loads that they've got for turkey hunting.
Yes, sir.
If you're a turkey hunter, you have to use TSS. My boy had a 20 gauge, and I bit the bullet and put a red dot sight on it, because I've seen enough on these youth hunts where kids, they've got a shotgun, and especially little kids, they have a hard time with a proper sight picture looking at a bead and shooting a turkey. And a lot of kids miss turkeys because they don't aim right. And so I bought a Sig Romero red dot, put that on my boy's 20 gauge, and that took all the guesswork out of shooting. And man, that bird came in. Finally, he came through a big pile of blow down timber, and my boy couldn't see it. But what I saw, there was a bunch of mullein weed, and I could see that mullein moving back and forth as that tom was walking through the weeds. And I said, he's coming to your left. And he comes through the big old pile of blow-down timber right into the decoys at 34 yards, and my boy just dropped the hammer. And, man, that turkey just hit the ground like a sack of rocks. It was done. And 34 yards, that TSS load, I think I counted 12 bullets in the head, or 12 BBs in the head when I skinned it out. I'm like,
wow.
I got to see how devastating this is. And just the sheer, I mean, it's number 9 shot. That goes against any norm with turkey hunting. Everyone's, you know, they're shooting, you know, aught shot. They're shooting number 2s or number 4s, or, you know, 4-6 combo. Yeah. It's number 9 shot. But what it is, it's the pure density. I mean, at 40 yards, you're having like 100 pellets in the kill zone.
Boom.
It's, you know, in that little 10-inch circle. It's utterly ridiculous at the shot density. And I was watching videos of it. That TSS will out-penetrate the standard old copper loads at 40 yards.
Oh, yeah, that tungsten is, you know, it's pretty dense, and I don't know what the hardness of it is, but it's...
Yeah, it's super hard. And so I got the TSS choke tube, so it's a tighter constriction on that choke tube, but that was just the coolest thing, just to be side by side with my boy, back up against a tree, sitting in the snow, and for an hour listening to these birds come in, seeing them way off in the distance. And it's like, yep, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. And, you know, you just feel it. And, you know, we saw him moving through the weeds. It's like, don't move. You know, I have my hands down on the call in my lap and just these real soft purrs. And, man, that tom was hot. And he come in. right to the decoys like he's supposed to, stuck his head up, and that was his mistake, and that was it, man. It
On your calls, what are you using? It sounds like maybe you're using ceramic.
Use a slate. Yep.
Slate.
So we got a slate call. I had the glass calls for a while, but what I found out on this hunt, when it gets wet, those glass calls stop working. And you gotta rough them up just right. And I really like those slate calls. I got a couple different ones. My boy's got a smaller slate in his pouch, and then mine's a little bit bigger. And what I like is with the two of us calling, is it sounds like there's a couple different hands. And a couple different age class hands, and that really gets the taunt. My boy and I have been doing this enough years together where we're learning from some guys. We go to a turkey camp where we have mentors helping and teaching us, and man, the two of us calling just real soft purrs really gets those toms going, where it sounds like there's a couple birds there. And what I've seen, I'm not a turkey expert, don't get me wrong, but they like those slate calls better than the glass calls. I've tried the mouth calls. I'm just not good at a mouth call yet. I need to get better at it. But just that slate is just I like it, and the toms like it. And so if it works, it works.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I keep 3 different calls. One of them is a mouth call, and what I've learned is you do your practicing with your mouth call in the truck, going down the highway, and that way you don't annoy anybody at home, let's just say.
Until you choke and crash your truck.
Yeah, I know. Well, I hate to tell this on myself, but the neighborhood cats drives them crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
All righty, we got to get this thing wrapped up. Hey, God love you, man. I appreciate all the stuff that you do, and once again, what a great dad. Thank you for that. I wish everybody could take a look at how high you set the bar, with your family and doing all the right stuff.
Thank you, Don. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, my regards to the family and the ranchers up there, and we appreciate what they do. We've got to flip into a break, and I'll be in touch with you next week. So we'll
all right.
We'll need to get you down here. We'll drink coffee and eat waffles.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, Chris Loman doing a great job. Thank you, Chris, so much. I got to tell you, Chris is doing such a great job with that family. He's got the wife out there in the sun. I texted you those pictures. Did you look at that M1?
That was unbelievable. That's spends a lot of time.
Yeah, that's great. That's good stuff. All right, when we come back, we're going to do some coffee and chaos and see what General Chaos himself has to say. I'm Don McDowell with Tyson Stewart in here. And the judge is back. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I get this mental picture of her back in South Dakota in Crocs. No, that's wrong. Okay, we'll be back on Fox Sports 910.
Don McDowell Outdoor Radio has been sponsored by Elevate Design Group.
If you're a rancher, farmer, or involved in wildlife habitat enhancement, then you need to know Southwest Ranch Supply for your needs. Southwest Ranch Supply is a distributor for quality American-made products. Vertical and direct burial water tanks, Numex polypipe, RDF aluminum troughs and spring boxes, Rainmaker drinkers, Western clay bentonite and pond seal, Redmond agricultural salt and minerals in bulk or block, solar well conversion, panels, pumps, and structural panel supports. Contact us at southwestranchsupply.com or 623-221-7655 for your free project survey and estimate to stretch your project budget and ensure you have the right products for your projects. We run full truckloads, split truckloads, and deliver direct to your allotment. Southwest Ranch Supply is your partner in conservation. 623-221-7655. Again, contact us at southwestranchsupply.com or 623-221-7655. Southwest Ranch Supply, proud member of the Arizona Cattle Growers Association.
This segment was brought to you by Mr. Crappie Slab Daddy Supper Rigs. We all live for the thump. My name is Mary Grace. Early diagnosis is key, but make no mistake, it is a devastating disease.
For more information, contact us at alz.org or through the 24/7 helpline at 800-272-3900. Sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association.
Looking for the best in flag football? iFlag is the Guinness World Record holder, hosting elite flag football tournaments nationwide for boys, girls, high school girls, and adults. Join the movement. Visit iflag.org today.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you feel embarrassed, trapped, maybe even ashamed just because you own a timeshare? Well, I'm here to tell you you're not alone. Chuck McDowell here, the timeshare cancellation guy. I get over 3,000 complaints a week from all kinds of folks that feel the same way you do. Honest people, teachers, veterans, grandparents, all losing sleep over a timeshare they can't get rid of. That's why 15 years ago, I founded Wesley Financial Group to help people take their lives back. Today, I run Wesley with my 2 sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we would want our own family to be treated. That mindset has helped us cancel over 50,000 timeshares from people just like you. So if you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-277-3355. 800-277-3355. 800-277-3355.
Your entire sports feed all in one place with iHeartRadio. From the pursuit of gold.
Golden goal!
To the bracket busting in March.
You think you know what's going to happen, but it never goes as scripted.
From the first pitch in spring training.
Ohtani tees off!
To the dreams of the NFL Draft.
With the first pick.
You're one tap away. Open the iHeart app and stream your local station. Catch the latest on Fox Sports Radio or dive into the world's biggest sports podcasts. Search sports on iHeartRadio and lock in. From the Raffy Law Group Accident Attorney Studio.
Call Raffy.
KGME Phoenix, KESZ HD3 Phoenix. Guaranteed human.
Parker & Sons, the Valley's AC, plumbing, and electrical experts. Call Parker.
A beautiful way to wrap up the weekend. We'll see a record nearing 92 this afternoon under the sunshine. Tonight, fair skies and 63. For the Fox 10 weather experts, I'm Corey McCloskey.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Taco Bell's new Luxe Value Menu has 10 lavish indulgences, all $3 or less. It's easy to get carried away. Like when you try the new mini taco salad, you might ask, do I need a salad fork? The fork in the bag's fine. Luxe Value Menu at participating locations while supplies last. Price and participation vary. Tax extra.
Don McDowell Outdoor Radio is sponsored by Southwest Ranch Supply. It's time for Coffee and Chaos with the guys from the 406 Rifle Company, Captain Chemo and Sheriff Wynn.
Okay, we're going to change his name today from Captain Chemo to General Chaos because wherever he goes, chaos is not far off. What's happening, my buddy?
Good morning, Don. How you doing, brother?
Yeah, we're suffering from a heat wave down here. What are you doing?
Well, it's low visibility. It's about, I don't know, maybe 50 degrees up here in the Bay Area. So, yeah, not too bad. I heard a commercial not too long ago. This morning they were talking about the weather in Arizona. That's pretty interesting this early in the season.
Well,
it's Arizona and it's unpredictable, so it was that way when I lived there.
Well, it's coming early, and I think it's going to stay longer this year. We had a great big discussion last week with NOAA. They're way off on their predictions so far as the precipitation. You know, they blew that. Tyson, what did you have down at the ranch yesterday at Gila Bend? Did you hit 94, 95?
96.
96 degrees.
Wow.
Way too early.
Yeah.
February.
Yeah, we're just talking to Range Con Chris Lohman, and everybody's kind of bracing for unfortunately a big fire season.
Yeah, I think Montana's going to see a big one this year too. But yeah. But
okay. Speaking of fires, is there? Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say before we jump into anything serious this morning, I need to clear up a rumor about good old Winifred. Apparently the reason Montana 406 is rebuilding rifles so fast from the fires because, I heard a rumor that Sheriff Wynn showed up with a bucket of chicken and some pixie dust and a couple old fashions. He's knocking them out. But I had to clear that one up, Don, because, I was going around. But, no, in all seriousness, there's no magic, no fairy dust or anything, but just some long nights and decisions, that the fire made for 406. The fire doesn't get the last words, that's for sure. We talked about what happened back on the 27th. We lost a lot of the rifles due to the fire.
Is there any news on what caused the fire, what started the fire, the source?
No, not yet. Still waiting for the final word from the fire marshal and the state investigator. But hopefully we'll have that this week and get that all wrapped up. But builds are still in progress. Trying to get the ones that lost for customers out. When something like that happens, you got two options, right? Shrink or rebuild stronger. We're choosing to rebuild. Get every rifle that was lost rebuilt. Make sure no one gets left hanging. Not cutting any corners, but if you trust us with your build, that's what matters. And just trying to get all these things redone and get back out to customers. But the cool thing, I'll let you know, since the fire, we are moving towards bringing more of our own manufacturing into the house. We're looking into the process of requiring our own CNC machine for our own shop so we can have full control over precision work. No waiting for, outside timelines on getting barrels, parts kits, and stuff. So we're stepping into going to do custom barrel productions, dedicated barrels, turning labs, and rifling systems so we can produce some precision barrels under our own roof. So that should be pretty huge. Myself and one of the business partners, we're working on it. So we're looking at a single point cut rifling system that elevates precision. So hopefully that'll land. We're also adding fiber laser engraving system, so we do our own custom work on our lowers, serials, markings, addition runs, detailed engraving, and just bring it all in house, right?
Yeah,
and
of
then,
course.
All the Cerakoting, spray boosts, the ovens, all that other fun stuff. But that's where 406 rifle is going, and hopefully we'll get there in the next, 6 months. Maybe
Yeah,
a little
Tim
less.
Ford, let me ask you this. What are your thoughts on carbon fiber composite barrels at this point?
I don't have a lot of experience with them. I'm not against them, but if you're that guy that's putting tons of ammo down range, I don't know how well they'll hold up versus like when you get into cold rolled steel barrels. That's the whole purpose of that. But I honestly I can't answer that question, Don. I know they're popular, and I know they do really well. I just don't know outside of a precision rifle how well they would do.
Well, what we've learned, all the trendy stuff, regardless of how popular it becomes, doesn't necessarily mean it's good.
Yes.
Long term.
Yeah. I totally get it.
Our friend Dave back at Soda, State of the Arts, back in Minnesota, they're back, pretty much fully functional. How's your relationship with Dave building lowers for the AR platforms?
Oh, Dave's doing phenomenal. Dave and, my relationship is solid. He's a great guy. Talked to him quite a bit. They're still kind of going through the motions of their fire, and, trying to get back on top of everything. But I think they're pretty much 90%, maybe 92% up and running, back on top of things. He's helped us out quite a bit with having to get some parts for some of these builds, and he's doing great. He's doing great. When we were at SHOT Show 406, we have quite a few friends, at Thin Line Defense Company, which is a YouTube group, big time YouTube group. They do a lot of reviews. K2 Defense, Johnny Q. So they're all big advocates for Montana 406. Quite a few of them have rifles that are going to be doing episodes and reviews on our rifles, kind of help promote 406 and get our stuff out there. But there's a couple of other things, like when we were at SHOT Show, we did a lot of talking with different organizations. We're going to be doing, oh my God, what is it? We're going to be doing some builds for some international companies for farms that we landed while we were at SHOT Show as well. So that should be a really good thing.
With the stuff that's going on in the relationship that you have had, we have had with Meprolite, they've done a great job for the Israeli Defense Force, especially dealing with Hamas in the Gaza. Is there any activity currently with those guys relative to what's going on in Iran at this point?
There is. As a matter of fact, I'm supposed to be on a phone call here in a little bit, talking about some of this stuff, trying to get some stuff finalized for them, and a lot of these builds that we're going to be doing. Rebuilding domestically, we've also finalized, like I said, these agreements with vetted overseas defense distribution partners. We're just doing the custom platform configurations for defense line end users internationally, including Israel defense, connected clients, stuff like that. But we'll be working on a project with IDF, a couple of other companies. I know I kind of sound like I'm talking in circles here, but MetPro as well, involvement.
Well, this whole thing relative to the military is, it's not necessarily talking in circles, but it's like a bowl of spaghetti. I mean, it's all linked together. It's got some sauce on it and some stuff on the bottom. So, you pull out one. It's a discussion over, an adult beverage for sure.
Yeah, and in the midst of all the craziness with what's happened to 406, we do have some solid contracts with different organizations domestically and internationally. We've been doing some custom builds for some 3-letter identifiers. I just got hit with this big, hey, do you think you can do this? I can't really go into details, but it's rebuilding a custom grenade launcher system that doesn't exist anymore.
Nice.
It's used heavily internationally. And so basically having to take that patent and make, to redo it, you got to make some modifications to it. And we're able to do the modifications without actually changing the characteristics of it. Now it's just about getting it into a CAD drawing and get one going on a CNC and present it to them and hopefully land that, because that would be very lucrative for us at this point.
Tyson, I absolutely love this guy to death, but he's the last one that needs a grenade launcher. No.
Well, may have a couple here or there, but, doing mass production for organization overseas and domestically too. So it's just something else for us to do. And, in all the craziness, we've been working to build and design another rifle company. We're almost to the point to where we can announce it. I'm hoping we could do it maybe in the next 2-3 months, but that'll be a big one. And it already has, as you know, Don, it does already have a government contract.
Yes, sir.
And it's not even fully up and functioning yet, so that's a great thing. So these are all good things for the Montana 406 Rifle Company. It's got a lot of growth and opportunities, and we just count our blessings and keep moving forward.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of obstacles along the way, but it looks like it's going to pan out. The big visual that I have is Sheriff Wynn with his hands stuck in the pickle jar, wearing his Crocs, shooting a grenade. It's not right.
He's a character. I had a long talk with him yesterday.
Okay. All right, we got about 30 seconds.
I'll go ahead and let it wrap up, and I'll holler at you later on today.
Yeah, roger that. Yeah, we'll talk this afternoon. So, all right, God love you, man. Keep your powder dry. There he is, Captain Chemo at 406 Rifle Company. Hooey. Check him out for precision-made long guns. I'm Don McDowell. We'll be right back with Chris Rich.
From the mountains of Montana to the shores of Hawaii, this ain't your grandma's coffee talk. It's 406 Coffee and Chaos, where rifles roar, coffee pours, and aloha meets the wild western soul. We are slinging truth, gear, and attitude served with a side of mayhem. Grab a cup, brace yourself, and let the madness begin. 406 Coffee and Chaos brewed with aloha, seasoned in gunpowder, served up straight from the big sky. 406coffeeandchaos.com or on Facebook at 406 Coffee and Chaos.
Here is a great way to help Arizona's wildlife conservation efforts. Put an AZ Wildlife Conservation license plate on your car, truck, or RV and show the world you care. When you do, you are contributing to the AZ Wildlife Conservation Fund, which manages grants for habitat improvements and hunter-angler recruitment. Simply go online to servicearizona.com and select the AZ Wildlife Conservation plate for your license plate renewal. Show the world you care.
In today's world, personal and family safety, home and business are at risk. Roll Shutter Systems Shutters protects your family, home, and business assets, providing security, privacy, weather protection, noise reduction, and all built for specific needs. Roll Shutter Systems is family owned and operated for 40 years and manufactured in Phoenix, Arizona. They ship and install throughout the USA, Canada, and Mexico. For your free estimate, click RollShutterSystemsUSA.com or call 623-869-7057.
Arizona Catalog, the official magazine of the Arizona Cattle Growers Association monthly publication, provides essential updates on issues impacting the ranching industry in our great state and nationally. The Arizona Catalog provides industry news from the University of Arizona, National Cattlemen's Beef Association, the Arizona Farm Bureau, National and Arizona Department of Agriculture, and others. Timely notifications of legislation on local, state, and federal levels, as well as other issues that may affect the ranching community. Spotlight on rancher highlights, activities, events, and dialogue from our president, executive director, board members fight the fight for you. Regular features include cattle growers reports, cattle comments, activities for kids, and animal health. The Arizona Catalog monthly magazine is created by ranchers for ranchers. Get your subscription today at azcattlegrowers.org or call 602-267-1129 and then ask how you can join the Arizona Cattle Growers Association. What's on your plate?
I'm Officer Kenny D with the Arizona Game and Fish Department's Operation Game Thief program. The bad boys that poach the animals that are displayed in this trailer thought they could get away with it. They killed the animals and took them home and they thought they were safe. But these criminals forgot one thing. We make house calls.
Did you know GoodRx can help you save on medication, manage prescriptions, and get trusted health information? If you're one of the millions living with a heart condition, check GoodRx for an easier, more affordable way to manage your health. GoodRx offers common heart medications for under $30. Just search for your prescription, find the best price, then show your pharmacist the GoodRx coupon. And it works whether you have insurance or not. To start saving and better manage your heart health, download the free app or visit GoodRx.com today. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Your entire sports feed all in one place with iHeartRadio. One tap away. Open the iHeart app and stream your local stations. Catch the latest on Fox Sports Radio or dive into the world's biggest sports podcast. Search sports on iHeartRadio and lock in.
It's time to say goodnight to that check engine light with the free AutoZone Fix Finder service. It'll help troubleshoot the likely cause of your light for free, so you can drive with peace of mind. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
This segment brought to you by Boyd's Gun Stocks, makers of the adjustable agility and at-one stock for your favorite long gun. Head to Boyd'sGunstocks.com for more details. Build with Boyd's. Show us your rack. How big is that elk, whitetail, moose, or mule deer? In the world of big game hunting, there's nothing better than having your rack on the wall and shown around the outdoor world. Head to huntingfishing.com and show us your rack. Now back to Don McDowell Outdoors on Fox Sports 910.
Okay, we're going to talk about Suckers on the Salt. Chris Rich, AZ Fly Shop. What's happening, big boy?
You know what they say about the suckers, Don McDowell?
I have no idea.
It takes one to catch one. Come join the.
Come on! I'm giving you more credit for that. Yeah, God dang, that was a big one.
Well, there's a lot of things we say about the suckers, but the suckers on the Salt River, the Sonora suckers on the Salt River, are super, super active right now. And I'll tell you what, they are fun to catch on a fly rod. They are very fun. What we like to say over at AZ Fly Shop is the tug is the drug and the bent pole is the goal, and the world would be a better place if there were more people out fly fishing.
Yeah, well, there may be some fly fishing opportunities in Iran coming up, so that may be a whole new industry for you.
I do see from time to time some people. I think they actually catch trout in Iran, in places in Iran. And I mean, it looks like there's some spectacularly beautiful spots there. I'm not sure I'll be going there. We got trips going to a lot of exotic locations. I'm not sure I'm ready to go to Iran.
Well, you know, I have a good friend from Iraq, Baghdad. Been here since 2006. I stood up for him when he got his citizenship, and I have a standing invitation to go to southern Iraq to enjoy the multi-species fishing opportunities they have there. I've looked at the map, looked at the photographs, talked to a few folks that have been there, done that were in the military at the time, and definitely on the bucket list.
Yeah, I do believe, as I've heard a good buddy of mine, I think his initials might be DM, he likes to say the only reason we have terrorists in the world is because they're not out there fishing. If they could feel that tug, they'd probably put their guns down and go out fishing. I know. Yep. I'll tell you what. When I get out on the water, all those things I think that are problems, they seem to be gone. They don't follow me out there in the water. So anyhow, yeah. I'll tell you what. The suckers at the Salt have been super active. They're kind of in a pre-spawn mode. I will tell you, the carp are in a pre-spawn mode as well right now. And the carp and the suckers are very, very active. I've probably got about easily a 20-pound plus common carp last week out of the Salt River on my fly rod. And that's a super fun fish to catch out there as well. The canal carp are getting active. The water's warming up, and they've filled up the canals. They've stocked a bunch of fresh grass carp in the canals this year to kind of replenish the stock. And yeah, people are catching fish all over the place. People are still catching trout at the Salt River. They're catching trout in the urban ponds. Mm-hmm. And that's something really not to be overlooked in Phoenix, Arizona. We've got an incredible urban fishing program that I would say I can't think of anywhere else in the country I've ever been that has the urban fishing program that we've got, right here in Phoenix. It's really kind of cool to be able to go down to your neighborhood pond and, catch rising trout in the evening. So kudos to Game and Fish for having that program working. That's a fun activity to do.
Yeah, Game and Fish is, they put a lot of money in developing that particular program, and it sure leads to a lot of wonderful opportunities for the family, for the kids, and entertainment and learning fishing skills.
Amen. Amen to that. It's just, I go down and, we'll do some casting lessons at the park. I'll go down and chase carp in some of these ponds from time to time with my fly rod. And you'll see people out there really, families, fathers and sons, fathers and daughters, mothers and sons, couple, 3 or 4 old guys like us sitting out there in their chairs having a good time. I mean, it's a wonderful thing to see happen.
No, stop. I don't have a web chair yet. Not yet.
Well, the operative word there is yes.
Yes, sir.
So,
if I'm lucky.
I'll fall into that category as well. I'll fall into that. Hey, we had an unbelievable Winston Days. I know we talked about that. Raised probably a little over $5,000 for the summer fly fishing camp that Trout Unlimited puts on. So we're super excited about that. And then, you know what? 3 weeks from now, we've got our 5th annual Spring Fling event. It's our biggest event of the year. Several hundred people come out. We've got free hot dogs, hamburgers being barbecued there.
Nice.
In the parking lot. All the funds from Spring Fling go to support Casting for Recovery and their retreat that they do in May. So we're super excited about that coming up. The classes are very active at the shop. The 101, the primer to fly fishing, the fly tying classes, casting lessons, casting classes. It's just the shop is really cooking. We love to see it, and the mountains are actually fishing pretty good. The rim country and the White Mountains with this warm weather we've had, they're fishing good, and the creeks right now seem to be in pretty good shape. If we don't get some more water, they're not going to hold up very well during the summer. But right now, I'm getting some great reports of what's happening in the streams and the lakes up in the mountains. So it's spring has come early in Arizona.
Well, Tyson and I have the shared concern of and Chris Loman. We just finished up with Chris Loman. That's up in Yavapai County primarily. The health and welfare of the grasslands is starting to look pretty grim, getting pretty dry, really dry. Tyson's down in Dendora Valley, extremely dry. RC's down there right now, and I got a call last night going, oh my God, it's so dry, and it's just, I'm afraid we're going to get into it this year. So,
I think we probably are. I mean, if we had to bet on it, it looks like it's. I mean, come on, 90 degrees before it ever got to March. Being an Arizona native, you kind of look at that and say, we might be in for a warm one.
Well, I think the heat's one thing, but
warm up this year in Phoenix.
Yeah, I'm more concerned about the fire season, burning down the state, like we did a few years ago. So we'll see.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think the answer is?
Rain dances.
Prayer.
We need to pay the Indians more.
Prayer.
Yeah.
I think rain dances are in order. I think that's fantastic. I think, quite frankly, if it gets real dry, I think it's great when the Forest Service. I mean, I don't like it so much, but if it's dry and it's dangerous, I'd like to see the Forest Service shut down the forest.
Well, absolutely, they need to do that. And I don't want to get on my soapbox, but the administration needs to get after them. They already are, but they need to stay on them to do their fiduciary responsibility to take care of the forest, reduce the fuel on the ground, and eliminate some of this stuff. I mean, it's just like California ring a bell.
I tell you what, I see going up when I'm up in the White Mountains. I see a lot of them. I see a lot of what you're talking about happening.
Yeah.
They're up there, they're thinning out the forest, they're cleaning up the underbrush. I mean, they're constantly working on that forest up there in the White Mountains. And, we haven't had any real big fires up there. I mean, even was it last year or the year before, they had that Greer fire. And I mean, it started right there in the middle of Greer, and they did not, they might have lost 1 or 2 structures in that fire, but boy, it could have been something crazy.
Well, that was great containment up there for sure, but anyway, and I think between you and I and, the other people that we talked that have influencer platforms is Chain Protocol. I took a small trailer over to a friend of mine's Friday, and I hooked my chains up, and they came off, and I'm driving down Olive Avenue, and the guy's beeping his horn, going, "Hey, man, your chains are dragging." I thanked him for letting me know, and pulled over and double checked my chains. I didn't double check my chains when I left. Is the problem? I didn't have them hooked up like they should have been, but I'll not do that anymore.
Yeah.
So that, and we mentioned to Chris Loman, when you pull off the side of the road, people aren't thinking about, if they pull off, they've obviously got a problem to deal with, and their catalytic converters 800 to 1500 degrees. So anyway, God love you, man. We got to flip into a break here. I appreciate what you do, man. You need to come in the studio.
Hey, Don McDowell, let me know. I'm in town till mid-April, so you let me know. I'd love to come in there and be there in the studio with you.
Okay,
spring is popping.
We'll talk next week. Okay, check them out. AZ Fly Shop, 35th, Cactus, just west of the 51. I'm Don McDowell. We're flipping into a break. We'll be right back.
In today's world, personal and family safety, home and business are at risk. Roll Shutter Systems Shutters protects your family, home, and business assets, providing security, privacy, weather protection, noise reduction, and all built for specific needs. Roll Shutter Systems is family owned and operated for 40 years and manufactured in Phoenix, Arizona. They ship and install throughout the USA, Canada, and Mexico. For your free estimate, click RollShutterSystemsUSA.com or call 623-869-7057.
Hey, I heard that. Did you? If you didn't, you can get the weekly e-news Heard That from the AZ Cattle Growers Association to be informed about Arizona cattle growers news in our great state. Learn about events happening each month, legislation roundups and cattle news range highlights, and the monthly recap and member highlights. Sign up for the newsletter by contacting the ACGA staff at 602-267-1129 and learn more about joining the ACGA or advertising in the weekly newsletter Heard That. ACGA 602-267-1129.
It's time to join the Howl Pack. In 2025, Howl for Wildlife campaigns will inspire advocacy, influence decision makers, and build resistance to the constant attacks from the anti-hunting industry. Howl is committed to protecting hunting, angling, and trapping opportunities nationwide, and we invite you to join the Howl Pack. Howl for Wildlife is committed to winning. Visit howlforwildlife.org to learn more and join the pack.
Hey, I heard that. Did you? If you didn't, you can get the weekly e-news Heard That from the AZ Cattle Growers Association to be informed about Arizona cattle growers news in our great state. Learn about events happening each month, legislation roundups and cattle news range highlights, and the monthly recap and member highlights. Sign up for the newsletter by contacting the ACGA staff at 602-267-1129 and learn more about joining the ACGA or advertising in the weekly newsletter Heard That. ACGA 602-267-1129.
If you're a rancher, farmer, or involved in wildlife habitat enhancement, then you need to know Southwest Ranch Supply for your needs. Southwest Ranch Supply is a distributor for quality American-made products. Vertical and direct burial water tanks, Numex polypipe, RDF aluminum troughs and spring boxes, Rainmaker drinkers, Western clay bentonite and pond seal, Redmond agricultural salt and minerals in bulk or block, solar well conversion, panels, pumps, and structural panel supports. Contact us at southwestranchsupply.com or 623-221-7655 for your free project survey and estimate to stretch your project budget and ensure you have the right products for your projects. We run full truckloads, split truckloads, and deliver direct to your allotment. Southwest Ranch Supply is your partner in conservation. 623-221-7655. Again, contact us at southwestranchsupply.com or 623-221-7655. Southwest Ranch Supply, proud member of the Arizona Cattle Growers Association.
With Progressive Insurance, we make it easy to save money. When you bundle your auto policy with home, condo, or renters, you will earn a multi-policy discount. Easy to bundle, easy to save. Visit progressive.com.
Looking for the best in flag football? iFlag is the Guinness World Record holder, hosting elite flag football tournaments nationwide for boys, girls, high school girls, and adults. Join the movement. Visit iflag.org today.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years.
He was in big trouble.
We're going to take your house, garnish your pay.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm.
I don't owe the IRS anymore. It was because of Optima Tax.
Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-813-4011. 800-813-4011.
Optima Tax Relief.
Actual client compensated for sharing their experience. Visit OptimaTaxRelief.com for details.
Your one stop for advertising? Call 844-844-iHeart.
Back to Don McDowell Outdoors on Fox Sports 910 and always on our free iHeartRadio app. Here's the Bass Daddy and Tournament Pro, Don McDowell.
Okay, coming up next, Commissioner James Guggenauer. What's happening, sir?
Hey, good morning, Don. As I'm talking to you here, I'm just watching a herd of elk kind of feed their way across the backyard here. And I want to tell you that these cows, they're starting to look pretty pregnant.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah, it's kind of interesting. Usually around May is when they start having calves, but some of them are starting to show.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a wonderful place you have up there. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Unbelievable. Okay, we got a lot of stuff going on. First question from one of our listeners is, what is the progress on raising Horseshoe Dam? Any news on that from your perspective?
Don't have any updates on that other than, people are talking about it and, more work has been done. And also the one on the Salt River, they're talking about building another dam, between Roosevelt and Apache. So there's lots of those things in place, and I know that different agencies within Arizona are working on those things.
Well, I've heard about that proposed dam between Roosevelt and Apache. Have you seen any sketches on that? We have Roosevelt, you have a dam, and then you have Apache. Where are they going to put another lake? I mean, this isn't really connecting.
You'll know this, Don. It's on the kind of what would that be, the west side of Roosevelt there? And it's kind of up high. They actually have construction equipment down there kind of clearing areas out. So there is some activity going on there. But, yeah, it'll be just below Roosevelt is where this new dam is supposed to swim.
Okay, well, I'm sure there's some logic. Not that I necessarily understand it, but I haven't heard the full story yet. So,
yeah,
it's America. You build a dam in front of a dam. Okay.
Yeah, it's a big drop from Roosevelt down to Apache. So I think their idea is that that's a perfect location to put another dam in. The other Salt River lakes don't have the big drop like Roosevelt does.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they're putting it there. Ultimately the goal is to have more water in the system overall. And but you and I will probably be long retired before they ever get that thing operational.
Oh, you scared me. I thought you were going to say long gone.
No, we won't be. We'll be fishing somewhere, I guarantee you.
Yeah. On that note, I got a note from Tracy Partee. March 15th, there is a Remembering Art Chamberlain Memorial Cup tournament. And we'll be talking about that more as we move along. But they're going to be launching out of Windy Hill on Roosevelt from 6:30 to 3 p.m. So, gonna be fun.
It was fun, and I remember that this, Tom, but for your listeners, Art Chamberlain was inducted into the Arizona Outdoor Hall of Fame shortly after he passed last year, and a great honor for a great guy. I mean, when we talk about guys like Art Chamberlain and Kurt Rambo, Matt Schuer's dad. I mean, these guys are legends across the state and the country. And so honoring them is always a good thing. We should never forget what they contributed to us.
Absolutely. We're winding up the hunting season. The javelina season's coming to an end. The archery deer, etc., so on and so forth. Quail season's pretty much all over. What are you hearing on success and harvest?
I did ask at the department, Don, because we've gone over that. Now, it's early. There's no official numbers out there yet. But the wildlife managers and leadership, they're calling this a pretty average year. I mean, javelina hunters, kind of sporadic, but most of the people that I've talked to have been successful. And so the mountain lion is an example. As you know, every year the department puts a harvest quota for mountain lions. This year was 359. And as of this morning, it's sitting at 308 that have been harvested. And there's some zones that we have for mountain lions. There's about 7 of them now that are closed because we've reached that harvest limit for those different zones. So that season's open till May 31st. But I think that's pretty indicative of how things are going this year. It just seems like a pretty average and a good year for most hunters out there.
Okay, I want to slide into current conditions and proposed techniques, especially on Roosevelt. The water's warming up. The bass are thinking about spawning. There's beds being made, so on and so forth. What are you hearing on bed bass?
You're so good at this, Don. You're such a great lead-in for all this stuff. So Roosevelt Lake, because of the rain that we had a couple of weeks ago, that's making its way down to Roosevelt Lake now in the Salt River chain, it actually went up 1%. So it's at 47% this morning. And the Salt River is flowing at about 65% of its normal rate. And the Tonto Creek is well over 100%. So there is more water coming into the lake. The conditions down there right now are pre-spawn. Anglers are telling me that the fish are moving shallow, and I'm going to loop a couple in here because I'm going to talk about Apache and Canyon at the same time. Fish are starting to spawn. In Apache and Canyon, we've gotten reports of fish that are actually on beds. Last week, there was an algae bloom on Apache, so the Game and Fish is investigating that. But most of the people are fishing shallow right now on those lakes. For Roosevelt, it's still like a pre-spawn, not necessarily on beds, but those fish are moving shallow. So you should be fishing, if you're going this week, you're in 15 to 25 feet of water with reaction baits or drop shots or anything like that, and you will have no problem catching a limit of bass down there.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, moving into the sight fishing. One of the things that I was looking at this past week was a white 4 and in some cases a 6-inch lizard with blue fleck. What's your go-to bait for bed bass?
Yeah, a lot of that. Don, and I know you've had Matt on talking about this several times in the past, but a lot of those baits depend on the water conditions. If it's clear enough to be able to see the bait that you're going to cast onto a bed, then something that looks like an imitation worm, a green color, if you're fishing Roosevelt, is always a good thing to have. But most of the time, the water is stained or there's movement in the water and you can't really see that far. So baits like you're suggesting, white or pink or whatever is the go-to bait. It's something that you can tell. And the rule that I use is I look at the bait and when I can't see it anymore, I'm going to assume that the fish has it.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you can't see it, swing.
So a lot of times it's not necessarily that you can see the fish pick it up, but just something you can see, and then all of a sudden you can't see it anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. I appreciate what you're saying about the baits. They need to be visible to the angler. And years ago, we keyed in on the white with the blue fleck in a lizard pattern because it seems like the bass. There's something about a lizard that they don't particularly care for. That's why it's such a good bait all around. But the other thing if you're looking at that fish and you see him arch his back or kind of turn into a U, you better hang on because he's upset. He's going to strike.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I don't know about the pink bait. Two things. I don't wear Crocs and I don't use pink bait. Okay?
Well,
and I don't drive a Prius or a RAV4. Okay?
Bubble gum is the color that we use, but it's basically a pink. But something to keep in mind, Don, when fish are spawning, they don't eat during these periods. A lot of people don't understand that. The reason the lizards are such a good bait is because they're going after the eggs in the nest. So those bass are attacking that lizard because they think that's a threat to their nest. And
that's
they're just
territorial motive.
Exactly. They're just trying to get it off the nest. So it's not like a bite that you feel, a tap, tap, tap on your rod that we're used to feeling when the fish is actually eating your bait. A lot of times they're just picking that up and moving it off the bed and going back to the bed.
James, I'm going to ask you to hold on. I got a hard break right here. We'll be right back.
No matter what boat or watercraft you drive, your safety starts with the proper personal flotation devices for you and the people aboard your vessel. Hey, I'm Don McDowell, professional angler and saltwater fisherman and United States Coast Guard Auxiliaries Flotilla 1011 Guardians of the Southwest. Mustang Survival PFDs are our only choice when enjoying our own watercraft or saving lives. Our lives depend on Mustang survival gear, and so does yours. Boat safe, boat smart, boat with Mustang. Your life may depend on it. Available locally at Sportsman's Warehouse, I-17 and Yorkshire Drive.
In today's world, personal and family safety, home and business are at risk. Roll Shutter Systems Shutters protects your family, home, and business assets, providing security, privacy, weather protection, noise reduction, and all built for specific needs. Roll Shutter Systems is family owned and operated for 40 years and manufactured in Phoenix, Arizona. They ship and install throughout the USA, Canada, and Mexico. For your free estimate, click RollShutterSystemsUSA.com or call 623-869-7057.
It's time to join the Howl Pack. In 2025, Howl for Wildlife campaigns will inspire advocacy, influence decision makers, and build resistance to the constant attacks from the anti-hunting industry. Howl is committed to protecting hunting, angling, and trapping opportunities nationwide, and we invite you to join the Howl Pack. Howl for Wildlife is committed to winning. Visit howlforwildlife.org to learn more and join the pack.
Here is a great way to help Arizona's wildlife conservation efforts. Put an AZ Wildlife Conservation license plate on your car, truck, or RV and show the world you care. When you do, you are contributing to the AZ Wildlife Conservation Fund, which manages grants for habitat improvements and hunter-angler recruitment. Simply go online to servicearizona.com and select the AZ Wildlife Conservation plate for your license plate renewal. Show the world you care.
Hey, I heard that. Did you? If you didn't, you can get the weekly e-news Heard That from the AZ Cattle Growers Association to be informed about Arizona cattle growers news in our great state. Learn about events happening each month, legislation roundups and cattle news range highlights, and the monthly recap and member highlights. Sign up for the newsletter by contacting the ACGA staff at 602-267-1129 and learn more about joining the ACGA or advertising in the weekly newsletter Heard That. ACGA 602-267-1129.
Did you hear? Allstate car insurance now costs even less. So when you bundle with home, you can save even more. Check Allstate first to bundle and save with a new lower auto rate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings may vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Looking for the best in flag football? iFlag is the Guinness World Record holder, hosting elite flag football tournaments nationwide for boys, girls, high school girls, and adults. Join the movement. Visit iflag.org today.
Liquid Death Sparkling Energy, the better for you, easy drinking energy drink. Available at QT. 0 sugar, just 5 calories, plus essential vitamins. Murder your thirst, not your head. Liquid Death.
It's time to say goodnight to that check engine light with the free AutoZone Fix Finder service. It'll help troubleshoot the likely cause of your light for free, so you can drive with peace of mind. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
If you love the outdoors, make sure you sign up for the weekly hunting fishing newsletter to stay up to date with the latest outdoorsman news across the nation. Sign up today at huntingfishing.com. Now back to Don McDowell Outdoors on Fox Sports 910.
Okay, James, here's the big one. We don't have round and round and round. We got a road course today. What are you thinking?
Hey, I'm going to say this again. I thought last week he ran strong, just some bad breaks. I'm going with Chase Elliott again.
Okay.
He just seems like he's running strong this tour in Texas. It's going to be a great race down there. Anyone's got a shot, but Tyler Reddick starting at a pole position is going to be tough. There's a lot of good racers there today.
I don't think Lightney's going to, hit in the same place the third time. But I'm going to stick my neck out and go with Shane Van Gisbergen, SVG. We got a lot of good road racers there. Larson's a good road racer. And one guy that's, I think, underrated as a road racer is Michael McDowell. So, anything, but I'm going to put my Tootsie Rolls on SVG today.
All right. Sounds like a good one. Should be fun. I'll await your text in the afternoon, Don. I always enjoy those.
Okay. All right. God love you. I appreciate your contribution and all things you do for Arizona. James Guggenauer, chasing elk in his backyard. I love it. Okay, back to you, Tyson. What kind of a fire year are we going to have?
Unfortunately, I think it's going to be significant.
Yeah.
I really do.
Now, we're used to seeing fires up north, on the rim, south. What kind of devastation do you have? Have you ever had a fire in Dendora Valley? Speak of?
In 2005, we had 2 fires in Dendora Valley. We had a fire in 2002 off of Citrus Valley Road. That was pretty big. Most of the time, and then there was one off of Dean Road in 2006 in Buckeye. But I think what we talked about earlier, the side-by-sides, the personal ATVs and things like that, it's always the river bottom. The river bottom is going to burn. It's dry. There hasn't too many people out there driving around. It's just going to happen. It's not if, it's just when.
Couple of things I want to touch on. We've already talked a little bit about the chain protocol. Very important. Double check your chains. Make sure they're hooked up properly to begin with, and that they've got the little clip on them to keep them from bouncing off the ring or whatever you have them on, like mine did on Friday that I didn't double check. And then be mindful of your catalytic converter.
Along with that, check the air in your tires and the date on your tires. Every time most people pull their RVs or their travel trailers once or twice a year. It's been sitting there for a while.
Bingo.
You can look at the date of your tire. They might look good, but they've been sitting all year. You aired them up and you took off. And a flat tire, I think it does more sparks than sometimes of these chains on the side of the road.
Well, you can tell by just driving down the highway that it's boating season, because you see trailers with burn up bearings, missing a wheel, and then all the PFDs that blow out of the boat along the highway. It's pretty crazy.
I mean, a flat tire is unfortunate, but they're really expensive on the side of the road. Go ahead and buy 4 before you leave.
Yeah, absolutely. Great advice. The other thing I need to ask, the rattlesnakes are out, ladies and gentlemen. They are out, out, out. Beware. Especially if at the boat ramp, where you go out in the parking lot, the sun goes down, and you come out to get your vessel at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning after weigh-in during the summer tournaments, and guess who's waiting by your front door? on your truck, wound up around the tire, trying to keep warm. Yeah. So, yeah, we're going to have Don Azonia down here. I was talking to him on Friday, and he was telling a story about turkey hunting and having a very cold sidewinder climb up on his lap, and he wasn't paying attention, and he got this peripheral vision, and he had that little tongue twitching at his nose. I mean, that's like, oh my goodness.
No, thank you.
Okay, that's about it for us today. I just want to be mindful and wish our troops Godspeed doing what they're doing in Iran. I think the efficiency of the United States military is surpassed by no one. That was a precision strike. It's going to go on for a while. I just hope there's no military deaths or civilian collateral damage. There's already people being killed in UAE, Israel. So that's going to go on for a while, but I think the world's going to be a better place in spite of the fallout that we're going to have by Chuck Schumer and the bogus itinerary that he has. He's going to call for a War Powers 1974 Act vote, which is meaningless to begin with, but it's just amazing that the Democrats have turned into the nuisance party that they have been, and God love Trump. He's making it a better place.
Tip O'Neill would be upset.
Yep. So, anything to add on your behalf besides wear more cotton and eat more beef?
Eat more beef, wear more cotton, and it's going to be the world's going to be a safer place. It's unfortunate we have to watch this and see this, but the fact that we have some leadership that takes the time and take the personal risk of and the abuse to make the place safer.
Yeah.
Hard decisions.
I am totally amazed at the technology that is being unraveled. There was some technology unraveled that's still not being talked about in Venezuela. It took out, 500 combatants, boom, without a shot being fired, so to speak. And I'll let that go at that. But the efficiency of the electronic warfare, neutralizing the air defense systems, the drones, and so on and so forth. I had multiple conversations about some of the battleships or water Navy being overwhelmed by hordes of drones, and they said, "Nah, don't worry about it. We got this."
It is kind of scary that that we have all these massive machines, but I'm still worried about someone with a drone and the ability to, and what they could do. It just in our city here in Phoenix.
Oh yeah. Well, we're still faced with the drone issue on the border. There was I don't know, Channel 3 News or whoever it was. I don't remember who it was. We're talking about the arrest of a suspected. I love their verbiage. Cartel scout living on top of a mountain. And they show photographs of these cooking pans, portable gas, solar panels. Phone charger. Suspected? No. Guilty. So, this is not news. It is, but it's old news. It's happening. They just need to get out more.
But I'm glad they're reporting on it.
Yeah, finally.
Bring it to the public. Stuff that we see every day, that's out there on our allotments, on our easements. So.
Well, it's been fun. God love you. I feel glad you and I could share Chris's Tuesday with that hung up Forest Service truck. I am going to have a discussion with them on putting some tools back in that truck. That's absolutely nonsense. So anyway, good to have you back in the United States. Okay. All right, guys, follow us on Instagram, like us on Facebook, and the other social media. I'm Don McDowell. Take your kids fishing, hug your bass boat. Yep, we're out of here.
Don McDowell Outdoor Radio has been sponsored by Southwest Ranch Supply.